You're listening to Two Chunks and a Hunk, a movie podcast where we give pumps and dumps.
Hello and welcome to Two Chunks and a Hunk. My name is Jordan Wonders, and this week I'm your hunk.
I'm Doge, and even though you're hurting inside, you have a greater love of Chunk and a more genuine Chunk spirit than anyone I've ever met.
Thank you.
And I'm Carter. It wasn't all Chunk. At least it wasn't for me.
Jordan, I noticed that earlier, remember, a second ago?
I do.
When you said you were the hunk?
I did.
Why?
I brought breakfast tacos for us today.
The second greatest invention of all time.
Behind?
Scrub Daddy.
I know.
Oh, yeah, that's
obviously.
true.
Obviously, our dad.
Yeah, so
Our dad is the greatest invention of all time.
It goes our dad, number one, breakfast tacos. Number two, regular tacos.
Number three,
Number three.
breakfast. Number four.
And the PlayStation 4, number 5.
Yep.
Yeah, that seems scientific.
I feel pretty comfortable with that ranking.
I've got a pretty good idea of how to close this episode.
Already?
Oh, I mean, I'm fine to just
Does
Just
opened
close
a
it if you want.
Fresca right into the microphone.
refresh.
I want to put you guys right here in the studio space with me.
How refreshing.
better sound effects than any Hallmark movie.
Welcome to our
Here we go.
ASMR episode.
And now we're going to talk about Hallmark Movie.
Oh,
God! Carter just projectile vomited into his microphone, so pardon us while we clean the mess. Carter, were you going to spoil the ending of our episode now?
no, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I was
So-
just ready to not talk about the next thing we talk about,
What's that?
the movie.
Well, before we talk about that movie, guys, do you know what happened to us this week?
Oh, yeah.
We were shouted out on another podcast.
We were.
Amazing.
We want to give a big thank you to Marcus Played. They referenced us on their latest episode. If you dig the kind of discussion that we have here on Two Chunks, you're probably going to love the things that Marcus Played is doing. So give them a listen, give them a follow. Check
them
it out.
Thanks, guys.
It's a good show.
A movie podcast about movie podcasts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Pretty neat.
That's a
Very
great
neat.
idea.
Yeah. So have we stalled enough? Can we stall some more before we get into...
I can go grab another sparkling water from the fridge.
You're not even halfway done with the one you have now.
I'll just have as many open as one time.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Well, this week we're talking about a movie, and that movie is called
Every Christmas has a story.
We're thrilled.
We loved it.
Do you think the movie A Christmas Story was offended?
Maybe.
No, wait,
24 hours of Every Christmas has a story.
Yes,
only
it's
on
like
TBS.
it's the think tank.
Do
So
you
it's
think-
like, let's call it A Christmas Story. No, Joe.
Do you think
we can't do that? Oh.
anybody who has ever spent time thinking of a title for a movie was probably offended by this? This is like the most generic possible title.
I think probably
For
anyone
this.
who has ever...
Yeah. I mean, it
Was
alludes
offended.
to the fact like a story, like a term in the news world. But
Does it?
I don't think that.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm
so.
trying really hard to help.
I don't think so.
I feel like
Trying it,
there's
Becky.
a better... Okay, let's do... Before we jump in, let's come up with a better title for this movie.
The Christmas Tree Mystery.
Dude, yes. But it does say Christmas, so it works.
I was gonna call it like snooze button.
My name
Good one.
for this
Yeah.
movie would have been She Died on the Way.
Okay.
Yeah. And then just kind of leave it to like, who died on the way to what? And then they reveal.
Anytime Aunt Becky gets in a car, you're just terrified.
Well, no, not
oh,
her.
no, not Aunt Becky.
Except the twist is it's the very first time she travels anywhere for any reason, and the movie's 12 minutes long.
Right.
That would be a better
That would
movie.
be a better movie.
Speaking of mysteries, I feel like it would be kind of a missed opportunity.
A mystery opportunity.
Mystery opportunity.
A
If we dove into this Aunt Becky caper without first referencing a bit of extra textual study that
Did
Jordan.
either of you guys look into this after I sent it to you?
I was already familiar with this phenomenon
Were you
whenever
really?
you messaged
Okay.
it to us.
Did you look into this, Carter?
No.
So it's what I messaged about in Slack.
Shout out
Oh
to
my
Slack,
God,
keeping
Slack,
co-working
Slack.
teams working together in a great and make sure nobody's slacking.
I'm surprised you remembered that.
So Lori Loughlin,
Mhm.
the actress who plays Aunt Becky from Full House, and the actress that plays, I forgot her name, Kate from this movie, is also the star heroine of a 16 movie series.
Goodness gracious.
On the Hallmark Channel.
That would make sense.
I didn't
why-
realize it was that many.
So I was watching
16
this,
movies.
which I got to watch it for free on PlayStation View
Okay, very cool.
because it's another one of those that happened to be on within the next 24
own
hours.
this movie in HD now. on
That's
Amazon Prime.
amazing. That's amazing. But this makes sense as to why she's kind of like the host for Christmas Hallmark movie season. Like she's the in between.
Really?
Oh, is she
You
really?
know, like if you were to watch TCM or AMC, there's always
Yeah,
the guy
yeah.
who's giving you like the
old
nuggets.
guy.
Yeah, it's her.
She's
So
the
that-
Joel McHale of Hallmark Channel.
Yes.
Very cool. So
She's Joel McHallmark.
So this nice. This 16 movie series that Lori Loughlin is the star of is called The Garage Sale Mysteries, in which she plays
Good grief.
a thrifty suburban mother who uses her bargain hunting skills that apparently translate into detective work to solve mysteries and murders when she discovers a dead body at
Whoa.
one of the garage sales.
And it takes her 16 movies to find this body? Like who this person was when they were alive, or is she just finding new dead bodies
No,
all
it's
the
a
time?
different. It's a self-contained Nancy Drew style. Every movie's a different mystery type of deal.
If I didn't
Wow.
already know this was true, I would totally think that you're making this.
What's
I
the garage
really am
sale
not.
reference? Is it always at a garage sale?
Her thing in the movies, at least in the first one, I don't know, I haven't watched them, but her thing is
Whatever,
she's
don't
a
lie,
bargain
dude.
hunter. She goes to garage sales to find good deals and then turns around and like refurbishes it and sells them or gives them to her kids and stuff.
Right. But also a detective.
For sure. Well, you know,
Because
you
she's
have
so
to
good
have-
at hunting down bargains.
Yeah, you got to have good detective skills to find those good bargains, and then it translates into like I'm helping the FBI. So
So with that being
Hallmarks.
said, we're excited to reveal our new series for the beginning of
No.
2019.
Ew.
the guy who plays the camera operator in this movie is side note the guy who plays Sam Hess in season 1 of Fargo.
Side note, always thought that he was asleep every time they showed him because one eye's covered and one eye's closed.
But
I was like,
he-
is the joke that he's asleep? Oh no, it's not a joke.
He is the detective from those movies that she like partners with.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I think this was like a cheeky Hallmark wink.
Why wasn't this just part of the garage sale mysteries then?
It would have been better, maybe.
Maybe. I feel like we can't confidently say that.
I don't know. I'm not confident that it would have been better, but I'm
Wow.
confident that it would have been
Yep.
better. Doge.
Hey, you guys want a synopsis?
Please.
That's my thing.
I'm in
You
charge
stole
of my
thunder.
own destiny today. Kate Harper, a television personality, is sent to a small town in North Dakota to discover her Christmas spirit after accidentally being caught on live TV saying she dislikes Christmas. Along the way, she reconciles with her college boyfriend and father while finding her Christmas spirit.
You sound like your college boyfriend is her dad. Oh my gosh.
That is not a Doge
That's staying in
original.
the episode.
That is from IMDb user Marjo Jimbo.
Marjo Jimbo.
So, just a quick heads up: her college boyfriend is not her dad.
No.
Marjo Jimbo was watching a different alternate cut of this
I
movie, I
guess
think.
so.
Or maybe she fell asleep partway. I'm assuming Marjo Jimbo's gender because she's probably a mom if she's watching this movie.
Well, there you go.
Because we're all moms. But Marjo Jimbo probably fell asleep and was confused as to the nature of this plot.
So,
And that'll do it for you. If you just miss just a fraction of time, you'll be confused.
You start to think every
or if you
male
watch
is-
it all, you'll be confused.
yeah, and I'd love to start with talking about the very premise of this movie. That it's that big of a deal that this woman says that she doesn't really like Christmas that
That
much
is
on
the
TV.
most wild thing about this, and here we are. That's my super dump.
Okay,
There
yeah.
is no reason for this. This
Yeah, it's
is
a dump for me. It's a
This
big
is
one.
the
It's a
most
dump, for sure.
convoluted reasoning I've
Guys,
ever
at one
seen.
point, people are picketing in front
People
of
are rioting
Okay,
outside
but like
of the
a
news
dozen
station.
people most.
Regardless, it's just because she not even blatantly
She
mentioned
didn't even say she
doesn't
didn't.
like
She was like,
Christmas.
I just don't like Christmas that much, and bumps into a guy and knocks him over.
Yeah.
Like, dude flopped. He should play MLS soccer, first of all.
Yes, he should.
I don't know if that's a real soccer thing or if
It
I'm
is.
just making. Okay, good.
Yeah, flopping.
First successful sports reference for me on this show.
So a
of
nationally
you.
syndicated news show on a national news station has a button that ruins everything in the studio.
right?
Really?
Just a one button.
It's just
A
a
one
one
button
button.
that goes
It
in
And
doesn't
there.
even take a
what
hard
news
press.
show doesn't cut after credits to something else? Do they not have ad breaks in this show?
Name a famous reporter.
Tom
Walter
Brokaw.
Cronkite.
Walter Cronkite. I like Walter
Good job.
Cronkite.
That was
Walter
good. You
Cronkite's
won.
a good one. What if Walter Cronkite one day was like, and by the way, Christmas is not really my favorite. How would your life change?
I would be devastated.
Yeah, I'd probably try and kill him.
Yeah. I mean, I would go hold up a sign outside of Walter Cronkite's studio
Yeah.
where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walter Crankite is what it would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's cranky.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walter Cronkite. He's a crybaby.
Yep.
Nice. Anyway, the whole premise of this movie is built around the fact that the studio has to do some image management for Kate.
Deck the Halter
Just
Cronkite.
unbelievable.
Gosh, that's a good one.
I'll tell you a super pump though.
Whoa.
I see your super dump and I super pump. Kate's good. I think Aunt Becky's a good actress.
The acting is good in this. Not
Yep.
good.
That's also what I think.
No, it's not what you think.
It's not what I think.
But I really do think that she just seemed different from like everything that we've
Yeah.
seen. I was like, this is somebody who at least has something.
You know what? In the spirit of Christmas, here's what I'll say. Step up from Candace.
That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying is
Yeah,
like we've
yeah,
been
yeah.
given this and it's like,
Step up from Candace.
wow.
I'm
And
having my sliding scale is so slidey
Yeah.
with this series.
I feel like
have
my
a hard
base-
time.
It's pretty funny.
I can't plant my feet for these Hallmark movies. I can't figure out where I stand.
I can't see true north. My baseline is so off after
We
spending
need to
some
see the
time in
Northern
these
Lights
movies.
to fully understand where we are.
Okay, so she has a what I would describe as strange working relationship with her college boyfriend.
Yeah.
It's almost like they just discovered that they used to date.
That's the thing. That's what I made a note of in my notes. How have they not had this conversation before? They have a
Right.
conversation where he's like, it wasn't all work, not to me. And she says, we have a show to do and a lot of great memories, essentially shutting him down, saying, hey, don't talk to me about this right now.
Do they say how long they've been working together?
A couple years,
Like a
right?
couple of years. Like this
So-
is not the first time they've had this
Let
conversation.
me put it this
Right.
way. If the answer to that question is 3 days, still no chance it's the first time they're having this
And
conversation.
here's the even bigger question. If they've had this conversation before, that means she's shut him down before and dude has no understanding of the word no. Like this
Which
like
happens.
budget TV Mel Gibson is so creepy to me in this.
I considered
I
him a
disagree with
bargain bin Mike Rowe.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's a dirty
Someone's gotta
job
do it.
starring in Hallmark movies, but somebody's got to do
Somebody's got to do it.
I did not find him creepy, particularly because,
His face of longing is
Yeah.
a face of I just ate a human. to
yeah,
me.
I didn't like that.
And he does it a lot, and his
So
eyes
much.
get red, and it's kind of scary.
And you were watching were you watching a different movie?
Yeah.
Cool. Glad
I
we
was.
landed on that. Good bit. No, I wasn't that creeped out by him. There were a couple moments where it was like, pump the brakes. But for instance, when he brought her an outfit to go for a snow drive, that was a little funky.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. He's a creepazoid,
Snow
man.
drive.
I don't know. He didn't bother me.
His unwanted kiss on the cheek really just set off the alarm bells
Yeah.
in my
wanted
head.
kiss on the cheek.
A quick point I did
did
want to
that
make
happen?
though.
Let me find it in my notes.
Here's what Hallmark has taught me: is at the beginning, if we're in a kind of pretty sunny place, we're not staying there.
Nah.
No.
They show us L.A. and I'm like, no, we're not gonna.
Have you been to LA?
No.
I wouldn't call it a pretty sunny place most times. But
Well,
it
it's
was
just
in the
it's
movie though.
Antithesis to.
Yeah. No. I'm with you. It
Yeah.
was, but
yeah.
it's just not.
I will say this: he did not have the unwanted cheek kiss. That was the.
That was
I know what you're talking
weird,
about.
dude.
and
that
I
was
hated
weird.
That
okay,
was-
we'll talk about
that
that in a
guy-
second.
See, I'm making a stand right here on Two Chunks and a Hunk. So many times we say we're talking about that in a second, and then we never do. I want to talk about the cheek kiss right now.
Okay,
Do it.
fine. She's
He's
doing-
interviewing.
It was horrifying.
Candy cane man. It was very
He
uncomfortable.
I
says
hated it.
you have to add sugar and peppermint and just a sprinkle of love, and kisses her on the cheek.
And her reaction
and
was
she smiles.
Her reaction was, "Oh, cute, that's Christmas."
She's
not
like,
Yeah.
"Oh
"Oh
no."
sir, no, thank you." Did you hear the vibrato on "sir" on accident? Sir, no, sir. It truly is the most Christmas time of year.
And Aunt Becky's traveling to the most Christmas town of America,
What is it? The most famous.
the biggest little Christmas
Yeah, that's what it
town in all of America.
So this mayor, right? I
Yeah.
mean, come on. What's his deal?
Yeah. He used to represent the Lollipop Guild.
For real.
I think.
Yep.
He made me deeply uncomfortable. I
Yeah.
did not like him.
He was. Yep. There was a lot of uncomfortable in this one, I
There
think.
was, wasn't there? Their boss is so weird. Like, she's so mad
She's
about
awful.
She is so mad.
this. Like,
She's the one making the
furious.
call. She probably hired the picketers. Like, I was like, are you the villain? You're the villain, big time.
And she's like, but I have a trip to Hawaii planned. Not anymore. You don't.
Oh my
okay,
gosh.
great, cool.
Cool.
So they go to the town. What's it called again?
Hollyvale.
Can you tell that this movie left no impression on me whatsoever?
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's like
Holly-
just
Hollyvale?
watched this.
yeah, it's Hollyvale.
You know what's funny is like there's hardly going to be anybody listening to this that's going to be able to correct us because they probably
We
have
can
never
say
seen
whatever
the
we
movie.
want about this
Fact
movie.
check us here.
No, I think it was Hollyvale.
Man, good town name, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So they're in Hollyvale, and they have Sam Hess from Fargo season 1 as their
cameraman.
But the first thing I want to address is that why does every main character in Hallmark movies get so cocky about not getting cold?
Yeah,
he's
that's
like,
a
it's
weird
0
theme.
degrees outside.
The
And she's like,
cameraman is right. Is
I
Doug?
don't think I care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a giant.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah.
Did y'all not like when Bargain Rowe was standing by him? It looked like 1.5 feet taller. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, he must be standing on some kind of platform for filming.
No, he's just a big boy.
But then he continues to walk around, and he's our Hallmark Hagrid.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Hallmark Hagrid.
Hallmark Hagrid.
I
Yeah.
I like that.
I loved
And
it.
he does
So we
get
got-
out of a couple jams.
So we got Aunt Becky, Bargain Row, and Hallmark Hagrid.
Yeah.
I can deal with that. I can deal.
Do we
with
want to talk about where they're staying?
And the Santa Suite, I just want to point out that the Santa Suite is clearly a Holiday Inn.
Yeah.
that. This is a regular hotel
Dressed
room
up with
some
classroom
Santa
Christmas
in it.
decorations.
But what I want to talk about is her name Mia?
Yes.
I want to talk about Mia.
Yeah.
Mia is the front desk worker at this hotel, and she is also a budding detective / reporter,
Journalism class.
journalism class student.
Major.
And she
But
is
she's in high school, though.
no. There's
No,
no
she
way.
says, I plan on studying journalism when I go to college.
No, this girl is 25 years old. There's no
I
chance.
think she's in high school.
There's no chance. But she is, I believe this, the worst actress that we have seen in any movie.
in the history of this show, the very worst actress.
So I'm really, I mean, Jordan and Doge and some of you that listen to this podcast could vouch for, I'm relatively a nice person. Like
Yeah.
I'm a nice
Yeah.
person. It was as if I had the hiccups and couldn't stop them. Anytime she was on screen and she said anything before, in between, and after, I would just say, die. I was just, this person, how did it get this far? How did she get here? How did she get in front of because I'm even like,
she has to be
yes,
related to
Hallmark
somebody, right?
Hallmark is bad, but
It's
come
not-
on,
it's not
Hallmark.
this bad.
She's somebody's
Guys.
niece.
That's
or
what I was about to say.
something that made the movie.
To quote my good friend Jack Black, is probably a little nepotiz.
Here's the thing, though. Wouldn't that be niecetiz, though? Got him. Anyway, she was almost my super dump,
Yeah,
but I had to take a step back.
yeah, it's bad.
I loved every second she was on the screen because I was literally dying laughing.
It was bad. Yeah, I kind of walked the line too of like super dumping or not, but it was just kind of like, I mean, I think everybody knows that's the worst part, so I want to be
Yeah.
more creative. But she was, it would be like, oh wow, are we currently doing broadcast things? How neat. This is awesome. Your room's this way.
Hi, Kate. I brought you to your room, and in this room, I put you in the Santa suite. And
Did it feel like she dubbed over at times? Did
Yes.
it seem like
Yeah.
it was? Explain that to me. When I see that, what does that mean? Does that mean that they went in? I know sometimes I see it for a like rated R movie that's showing on cable TV.
Yeah,
And
so
they
they-
have to go over a.
My theory is that
A
on
cuss word.
set, she was moving her lips in the shape of the words, but it was just like, okay, I brought you to your room. It's for the Santa
I like
suite."
that.
And then they're like, hey, can we get you to do that one more time?
Realistically,
Say the words.
what happened on these movies is that we don't have a long enough production timetable to do any sort of ADR after the fact. That's a part of most movies' post-production
Yeah.
pipeline, is to go in and dub over some lines that maybe weren't recorded clean on
Right.
set. Realistically, what probably happened is they took the audio from another take and the video from this take and said, this is close enough
Yeah.
for our 48 hours that we have to edit
Close
this
enough.
monstrosity.
And I'll say that she probably made that job pretty easy because she says everything with the same cadence and the same tone of voice.
Oh,
Absolutely.
it was real
And
bad.
so I think it probably made it very easy to just be like, yeah, just put any words there.
Here's the thing. She is a viewer and a director's nightmare, but she's an editor's dream because she's a line robot. She just shows up and does the same thing every exact take.
I would argue
Yeah.
that she's a viewer's dream because, again, truly enchanted.
Yeah, I think I've got a lot of apologies. I'm gonna have to call Daniel and just say, hey man, I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, the bar
Dan-
was so much
I've
lower
seen
than I
so
thought.
much now I'm sorry. Like I think if we would have done this before Harry Potter and stuff, I might not have hated him so much.
Yeah.
Daniel, you're not so bad, Cliff.
You're not so bad, dude.
In fact, I think you're pretty rad, Cliff.
Stop.
It's like my opinion of him was going up, like on a graph. What kind of line is that? Diagonally, like when it's going up. So it's like the green one, to where I'm like starting to like him more. But
I live in a nightmare world.
So let's talk about the kind of central garage sale mystery, if you will,
oh my god,
of this movie, which is why is everyone being so weird? Why don't they celebrate Christmas
Yo.
anymore?
They turned up the weird.
What's up with the weirdos?
They turned up the weird.
Yeah.
To where I was like, this could easily be a B horror movie.
Yeah.
And these people are going to have
on
her
them.
be like, no, you can time travel in this tool shed, and then just eat her. Like it's just really
that would've
bad.
been
They're gonna get out her, and they're gonna cook her brain into a Christmas cookie and put an elf brain inside of her, and she's gonna be an unwilling part of Santa's workforce.
And the town is actually Garland, Alaska. It's a part of the same team.
It's the extended 150 episode Hallmark Christmas universe.
If they're willing to go 16 deep on garage sale mystery.
Hey, There is one connection for all of them, the plot.
Yeah.
It's all the same.
Yeah, it is.
But
And speaking of plot, let's keep on trucking here.
Speaking of plot, I do want to point out that there is another Full House connection from this, in that Aunt Becky is the host of a morning show.
Yeah, she might as well.
Like,
Right?
come up with a different job for Lori Loughlin,
how
please.
crazy for that? I'm just trying to bring allusion to the fact
How crazy for that.
how crazy for that at the end of our previous episode, I confessed I've never seen an episode of Full House.
Oh, that's right.
So I just want to make sure y'all remember that.
Cool. Hey,
It looks real, doesn't it? My responses.
Yeah.
Seems pretty genuine.
tune in 2019 for Carter's solo podcast where he reviews every episode of Full House.
Empty house, empty nest.
Full House.
Empty nest, our Full House fan cast.
Full House. Clear eyes, can't lose.
Can't lose. I said it lose.
Come on, dude. Clear eyes, Full House, can't lose. I mean, don't put this in the episode. This is good. Clear eyes, Full House, can't lose. We A/B Friday Night Lights in Full House.
Oh man.
Oh, this is gold.
And that's the end, right?
Oh, I wish they.
So let's really try and get into the mystery of it all.
Well,
That's
hold
really
on.
right.
We've got some Hallmark staples, and one of the Hallmark staples is these women never have the right clothes, and so she is just cold all the time.
She's really cold.
Okay, here's the thing though, is that budget Mike Rowe is also freaking out about the cold, but his vacation plans were to go to Aspen, which I happen to know is cold.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It's also pretty cold.
I've heard that. He does at one point bring her a cold outfit, and that feels weird to me.
You know how like when you're interested in a girl and she tells you no a whole bunch, and then you're
So you
like,
buy her
I should
Uggs?
bring her clothes.
Yeah. That doesn't usually go well.
That's how I got married.
Here's some clothes.
You got married to your college girlfriend who is also your father?
Yep.
That's incredible.
Yep.
So the Hollis tree, right? There was a big Christmas tree in the town square, and it's not there anymore. They
And a lot of
stopped
people-
sending
yeah.
the trees, and a lot of people noticed that, and they're bummed out about it.
And there's a contract that says it can only be Hollis trees, so they can't just go buy another tree.
Because it's privately owned Hollis land.
Right.
When they revealed that particular aspect of the plot, I rolled my eyes so hard it made a sound.
Yeah. And
That's-
that town was.
That's an unbelievable.
I don't know what I did to y'all for this.
That's an unbelievable engine that we're choosing to drive our plot.
Yeah,
with.
it's
really
really
is.
bad.
That is insane.
And that's
really
just,
bad.
yeah, it's everyone's favorite thing about Christmas, and now it's gone because of a contractual obligations.
Let's take all of the.
This is the our town has no other Christmas lights of this movie, where it's just like we don't know what to do.
I know.
Let's
There's this gazebo over here.
It's like, have you ever wanted to watch the Star Wars prequels, but only for the interesting legal disputes?
Yeah.
Remove the lightsabers and everything good about those movies, and
got
now
this.
place it in Hollyvale, North Dakota.
It's just so strange. There's so many choices here that are odd, but one of the strangest
Hallmark,
ones, yeah,
welcome to
right.
these.
one of
Yeah.
the strangest ones to me occurs when they're going to interview the maintenance man, and they're at the offices in the warehouse.
Dude, how much did he look like he was Spencer Breslin and Wallace Shawn's Venn diagram?
Whoa!
That's very interesting.
What did you just do to
It was
me?
the most bizarre thing. Like, he looked like it was inconceivable.
Ballace Shawn. Anyway,
Where did you
so
get that beef from, my dude?
Breslin, baby, grow up. So they go to this office.
I think
in
it's
this
assumed if you call him
warehouse.
baby, he needs to grow up.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
And Aunt Becky runs downstairs to go check out some paperwork that's probably there.
Yeah, that homie just happens to know everything.
She knocks
On the ladder.
over some ornaments, and then it's like scatter and just takes off. Can I make a confession? I can't remember so much about this movie to the point where like this movie.
Basically, what you got to understand is that Act 2 is a series of interviews. We have our interview with the mayor where he's being so weird.
And he's being a strange one.
Have the interview with Ballace Breslin, and he's being weird.
With gingerbread cheek kiss boy.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Don't like that at all. And then the random girl who is just
At the
like,
beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember how my favorite part was the tree.
I used to come here all the time.
Yeah.
They talked to the creepy museum owner, Millicent Aberdeen, which is the most Harry Potter name that I've ever heard
really
outside
is.
of Harry Potter.
Dude, what was her deal? Like,
I don't know.
Like the whole deal is like everybody like, they can't know the secret because we must protect our friend.
no, I thought it was the opposite, where it was like they can't know the secret because they have to stumble upon it themselves and save our friend.
I
Oh,
thought
that's
both.
right.
Yeah, I
that's the whole
thought
thing. Is
both.
like,
I think that's what it was.
love Christmas so much. We must trick her into also
Yes.
loving Christmas.
Yeah.
It's just strange. But they end up in a SUV driving
Mm-hmm.
on a road forever.
Yep.
And so my super dump is here, and I'm just going to get to it because I don't know how else to get to it really.
Do it.
But my super dump is, and it's not the moment itself, but it's what the moment represents. There's a point where after driving, what they said is just 20 straight miles in one direction on a road, they have an actual conversation about remembering how to get home. And it's, I know the answer, and it's 20 miles after a quick U-turn. That's how you get back home.
Yeah.
This leads to some other stuff, but my super dump is just that the logic of this movie
Yeah.
What
is
logic?
so exactly. It's
Yeah.
so loose, and it makes almost the least sense of any. We watched a movie last week about a time traveling World War II era nurse who saves Christmas by remembering where a bundle of Christmas lights live,
Yeah.
and it made more sense than this movie.
Yeah. Can I ride shotgun on your super dump?
Jump
here?
on in, homie.
So I'm here with you, and I'm also super dumping because my issue is it really doesn't matter the demographic, okay? It is very blatant. There's certain things that can go unnoticed. Not as if we have trained eyes, but we do have a movie podcast, so things stand out. I know sometimes Doge will bring up like very specific camera things or green screen things that weren't as bad to me as they were to him because he's been there before. Many, if not all, human beings are aware of breaking and entering and theft, like
Dude,
are possible.
Yes.
Why is this one person like, hold up, let me put down my firewood first and then ask now, why are you here? Why'd you just walk into my house?
Like it's a business, but it's his home.
Yeah, it's his home. They're in his living
Guys,
room.
when they're at the door, they do the classic like guy can't open the pickle jar, but girl can get it. But the only difference is that the door just opens for her instead of him.
Yeah.
Like he tries to open the door and it doesn't, and then she tries to open the door and it does. And that's is that a joke, or like was that supposed to be funny, or
Like it looks like a
what?
house, right? It doesn't look like a hotel.
It's his home.
it's
It's,
his-
where
it's
he
his home.
lives.
It
It's
is his
farm.
home.
Yeah.
There's no sense anywhere.
And he's not even surprised. He doesn't walk in. He's like, oh, what are you doing here?
You're in my home.
Or,
Yeah.
why are you here in my house? Like instead, it's just like, excuse me.
What are you doing in my home?
We already know Hallmark plays fast and loose with the idea of like whose kitchen belongs to who and who can you just leave in the middle of the house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not all that shocked, but like once again,
Hallmark, much like the first people to live on this great continent of ours, has no concept of personal ownership of property.
it's true. Shots fired at Christopher Columbus, I guess.
I think so. Hey,
Shots
Chris,
fired at
Chris,
America.
at me.
Hey, Chris. Chris, say something about it is the thing.
Dare you?
But it's just like this movie is a sinkhole of logic. It just
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Nope.
So they get there and they find out essentially that Amanda, Vernon Hollis's wife, Amanda,
Died on the way.
died on the way to go see a Christmas tree. And if it sounds like I'm smiling in my
don't wanna
voice,
laugh at this,
it's
but-
because I'm about to laugh. Amanda died on the way to go see a Christmas tree, so no more Christmas trees. And then Kate says, your wife wouldn't want you to do this. She uses the death of his wife to manipulate him into
she
a
has
Christmas
known
tree.
him for 86 seconds.
Well,
She
you know how
broke
she
into
got-
his home.
Right. That's how she got all the depth of it. Is because she happened to see his cork board.
with red string attached. And
Oh my gosh.
This is the most bizarre aspect of this film to me. And I realize I've said that about just about everything we've talked about.
it just
She finds her Christmas spirit by using the death of a man's wife to manipulate him into placing
And
a
this is
Christmas tree
Vernon
back in
Hollis.
the town
We
square.
said that, right? This is Hollis
Yeah.
and Hollis trees, yeah.
This is the I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
dude.
get this.
It's bad. It's really bad.
This is when Kate says the line, even though you're hurting inside, you have a greater love of Christmas and a more genuine Christmas spirit than anyone I've ever met.
Dude.
86 seconds. I just want to reiterate. She has known this person for less time than she has known the brand new Uggs that she got this morning.
Yep.
She knows more about the jeans that her creepy, I guess, boyfriend-ish thing bought her today than she does about this.
She has a deeper relationship with Mia, child journalist, than she does with Vernon Hollis.
And she is still somehow prepared to change his life.
Yep.
So
Unreal.
And here's the thing, and it's something that I'd love to dive into more, maybe our next episode, just a unique situation. But one of my colleagues at work, her name's Dr. Morgan. She was like my professor at DBU for a long time. And then now has become a colleague, a really cool thing. She is basically demographic of like Hallmark, except she's this wonderful hybrid that she's incredibly witty and she understands what they're doing to her, right?
Okay.
And so she's pulled up like Hallmark has a Yule log living room that they kind of do a live shot of, and there's like pigs and like little baby pigs and kittens and dogs that run around that you just get to kind of have up like the Netflix log with music in the background.
Whoa.
Wow.
So Hallmark has this. Anyway, she's doing that and just cracking up at it because she's like, this is great. So all that to say, I forgot what I was going to say. So
It's a good story, though.
No,
That
hold
was
up.
cool.
That
I
story
set it up
showed me
with
that
her.
Dr. Morgan has a greater love of Christmas and a truer Christmas spirit than anyone I've ever met.
So the conversation that we're having, and she was like, I'm not coming from a place of like trying to be, and it's, so her biggest issue with all of Hallmark is, and I'm guessing it might be all 150 something episodes. It's only about the spirit of Christmas. And I'm not trying to Jesus juke here.
Sure.
Right? But there is no talk of the reason for it ever.
We never define what the spirit of Christmas is. I was
Right.
just about to say that. Like, we treat the spirit of Christmas like it's like something that we're supposed to know what that means, but we
Right.
never define it, but we use it in every movie.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is funny to me that, and again, much like you, let's take any religious significance out for just a second and let's just look at what they're doing. Spirit of Christmas is just whatever they need it to be for that movie to work.
Yeah,
It
and
could be
It's
selflessness.
screenwriter shorthand for compelling motivation.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It is this strange, ethereal, ever-shifting MacGuffin that we use in every Hallmark movie,
Right.
and it means nothing.
nothing.
But yet everything.
Right, and I can't tell if it's a hallmark of these movies to have something like this, but like it seems like their calling card that they leave behind at the scene of the movie crimes that they are committing
Right.
is,
And to me,
here's
too,
this Christmas spirit.
this is when I'm like, hold up. Is it so much about the money grab? And yes, movie making is a business and things like that too. But you have an avenue that has made a list of the 15 most watched and enjoyed, like Southern Living. Do you think people who
wanna talk
subscribe,
about that, too.
what percentage of people subscribing to Southern Living do you think are possibly Christians?
98% of
Yeah,
them.
mostly.
I think that
And the
might be
other
the
2%.
demographic of Hallmark movies. But it's like, what
I
are
mean,
they
so-
afraid of?
Southern white moms.
Right. I'm not saying
that's-
turn it into something that's like an evangelistic crusade or anything
Yeah.
like that. But when you're having a heart to heart about a guy whose wife just died, and be like, no, I know you wouldn't do that. Not necessarily because you loved her so much, but that you love Christmas. Like Christmas is like God
Yeah.
for Hallmark. And it's so
It
crazy.
really is. It's
Well,
bizarre.
spontaneity is God, we've established.
That is also true.
But I want to talk about Southern Living and how irresponsible they have been. Southern Living, I'm calling you out. Thanks for the pies, but here's the deal.
Man, shots fired at Chris Columbus and Southern Living in one episode.
Who are we coming for next?
Yeah.
But there is just no chance that this should be on any list.
There really isn't. And I don't know what it is. And I don't know if it's like maybe this was, because I don't know the history of Aunt Becky in Hallmark movies, but maybe this was her first, as if you're like commemorating like, oh, what,
No way, dude. This
what
Even
have you come-
Garage Sale
This was
Mystery started
2017.
before
That was before that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
So we haven't even talked about another significant arm of this plot, Kate's relationship with her father.
Oh, that's right.
I don't
Because they
fully
decide to
understand
do
it.
that
Why is that in this movie?
Is that why she doesn't like Christmas, right?
Yeah,
I
but
totally
we don't-
called his lines when he saw her. Chelsea and I were watching, and he was basically just going to be like, I just want to apologize. It's not your fault that you're this way. It's me. You know, and because I guess they didn't celebrate Christmas or something. Like it was just.
Well, no, he gave her a doll for Christmas and then left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then she's
got that
doesn't like
associated with him.
Christmas now.
And so yeah, he chooses this time, which I would too if my daughter was under great national persecution.
Yeah. I would travel to the small town that she's imprisoned in to rekindle a relationship.
Yes.
Not only rekindle a relationship, to start a brand new fire.
Oh my gosh.
It's not like they had any contact.
Can we talk about her dad's meet cute with her boyfriend
Ew,
coworker?
that's weird.
Weird.
But first, maybe I'm completely crazy. I just got vibes that this was like kind of Beauty and the Beast plot. It's like everybody's in on something all around her and they're not telling her, but they're trying to push her towards something to change,
literally
to change people, you know, like to have a happy ending.
Yeah.
the town threw this whole mystery together for Kate's benefit. The mayor says the line, "We miss our tree."
Wait, they threw the mystery together for Kate's benefit, so it's fake?
No, they set it up as if it's a mystery because they needed her to go find him because they needed her investigative skills
To fall in love with the beast.
to go get
Naturally.
Vernon. They set it up. It's bizarre. They set it up. They said the line, "We miss our tree, but we missed our friend a whole lot more."
Oh my gosh.
They
this
set
is
the whole
trash.
thing up to send this nationally known investigative reporter after their friend to get her to manipulate him into putting the tree back
They
in town.
used microwave emissions to cause her mouth to trash talk Christmas.
Yep.
They used an earthquake machine developed at the Area 51
Yep.
in order to vibrate the building in Los Angeles
Yep.
to knock the headphones onto the button. This whole thing was set in motion by MK Ultra.
If you think about it, jet fuel can't melt tinsel.
Wow. Doge's Jet Corner? But it's crazy. And silly me, I think I've fallen into just trying to make something out of nothing. So I apologize
So
for giving it
yeah,
too
Hallmark,
much credit
that's what
for
Hallmark
good
does.
storytelling.
Yeah.
But it only came up when you said that the town made her a prisoner, essentially.
It's genuinely the most bizarre thing. So Kate saves Christmas
Thanks,
through
Kate.
the power of manipulation.
And the tree comes back.
And then she's looking, the tree comes back and she's like, "Where is Mike Rowe? He's got a dirty job. Somebody's got to lead this parade."
He's not here. Wait, we didn't get to even talk about the conversation at the bar, right?
The conversation is basically, "Hey, Mr. Sir, I've
been in love with your
loving
daughter for a long time."
But then Dad makes the worst face that you would with like two bros. That's just
Nice.
way inappropriate. Like, oh yeah, huh? It's just like, ew, dude.
I'll bet you have, bud.
That's your daughter and ex-girlfriend. You don't talk like that to another guy's ex-girlfriend about an ex-girlfriend.
So much of this,
It's so hard to talk about.
so much of this feels like it was written by somebody who was like, "Movies? Yeah, I know what those are."
Mia wrote it.
I
who it is.
thought I was done with semester final exams, and yet this feels like the hardest final exam I've ever taken part in. To just
Talk about this
talking
movie.
this movie.
So the last thing that happens, I think, is that they join all together on the float, right? And
Her dad ruins thousands of children's Christmases by removing
by
the
disbearding
beard.
himself.
And he's on the float for some reason. I don't get it. It's just so weird.
Yo, that was real bad.
Right?
How did they even get to that? Did I miss where that idea came from to come in on the float?
It was a throwaway line way early in like Act 1. They said, "Yeah, and we used to have a float too, and it just hasn't come around either." Like, they're like, "Yeah, we could have made the mystery about this,
Yeah,
but we
and-
really want our tree more than our float."
There's this guy named Voldemort, and he like wants to take over the world. But anyway, your broom is broken, so let's see if we can get that fixed first.
Watched Prince of Egypt for the first time a few nights ago.
For the first time?
Yeah, the
Ever?
movie- ever. First of all, that movie rules.
Dude, it's
You're playing
so
with the big
good.
boys now.
Second of all, Voldemort is his brother.
Yeah,
Oh.
that voice,
It's been a minute.
that cast is
The cast
pretty
is
unreal.
stacked. That
yeah.
movie rules. Can we talk
Underrated.
about Prince of Egypt instead of this
I
movie?
would
Please.
love to do that.
I'd rather talk about Prince of Persia instead of this movie.
Let's talk about Road to El Dorado.
Well, that was you took Prince out of it, but that's
I
okay.
did, but
Let's talk about Prince.
Oh,
Himself.
Purple Rain. Am I right, guys? Anywho,
Guys, so we've got like a lot of time left in this episode.
Yeah, so we finished talking about this movie so early, and it's because there's not a lot there. But
There's nothing here.
Here's what I'm realizing. I forgot to super pump, and it's because I was waiting on the right time.
I also didn't super pump, and it's because I don't like anything about this movie.
You don't have a super pump?
I don't know if I do,
the
guys.
law of two chunks.
I'll try and think of one. I did not come into the studio with one prepared. This is the first movie that we've ever watched where I'm like, I can't find anything that I like about it.
I have, and we talked about it earlier, and I didn't want to reveal then because I've been going too early recently, and I don't want to do that continually. So here it is. My super pump is Mia, not because she's good, but because I loved her so much.
I get it.
Every moment she was on screen, I was losing my mind.
That makes sense. I can get with that because I rejoiced about Journey Back.
Yeah,
Christmas.
I mean, I was just absolutely in hysterics every time she did anything.
See,
Come on, Doge.
I see that, but with Mia in particular, I was to the point. So if you listened last week, I sounded sick.
I did.
I got much sicker. To the point where I used Afrin too many days in a row, and so I had like rebound congestion. I thought that I was just going to spend the rest of my life addicted to over-the-counter nose spray.
I think you're supposed to do max 3 days.
Yeah, I found that out on day 5. So it was a bad time. So at this point, I was watching this, breathing through my mouth. I felt like I was going to die. Exactly. I sounded like Darth Vader watching this. And something about Mia's whole deal was just the last straw for me. For me having any sort of positive reaction to anything happening on my TV. I was like, oh, if she's in this, I'm out.
So here's something I want to talk about. I genuinely think that this was the hardest time I've ever had paying attention to a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys felt that too?
It was easier to watch the Battle of Five Armies than it was to watch this.
Oh my gosh, by a mile.
And the Battle of Five Armies was hard to talk about.
Yeah.
There were points where I had to be like, okay, come on, focus.
Right.
Keep watching this movie.
For
It
real.
was so hard. And I never have that problem. I will watch dumb things until they're over just to make sure I get the full story. I almost couldn't finish this movie. And so for a second, I just want to say, what is it about this movie that makes it so much harder to sit through? Because we established the acting might have had the bar raised, at least by our main character a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was shot in full HD. I could hear the words that were being spoken. And
it was technically and legally a movie.
Somebody wrote it and it was on a screen. So why was it so hard to watch this?
I think we're stumbling upon the eye-opening fact that we just need a little more DJ in our lives. Maybe that's the difference.
I said it. I think I said it last week. Maybe I didn't. You can't spell Christmas without DJ.
Yeah.
And we tried to spell it without DJ this week, and I don't think it happened. But genuinely, I think it's because there is no even shadow of compelling character motivation here.
Yeah.
There's not.
Like,
no.
I think there was a hint of it in Christmas Under Wraps.
Yeah.
I think that there was a whole lot more of it actually in Journey Back to Christmas. That one in my mind is the best of these three.
It was nonsensical, but it was there.
This one, they don't even bother with it. Like they I don't know.
They take a problem that has never existed in a world that has never
maybe
existed.
that's it. Maybe it's a straw man argument that became a movie.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the problem. She did this and now everybody's mad. And like, that's the premise that we have to go on. And I think we just all feel like that premise is fundamentally ridiculous.
Yeah. And it's sort of the cornerstone that the whole movie is built on, and it is flawed.
Yeah.
And I can get behind a dumb movie with a premise that's at least interesting, but there's just, for me, there was nothing interesting about this movie.
And it takes itself seriously. Like if it was like,
maybe that's what
in
it
terms
is.
of like a dumb premise, I freaking love Kung Fury. And that's the dumbest premise for anything in the world. But I love Kung Fury. But this is a stupid premise that insists that it's valid and should be taken seriously.
I think that might be what it is. There was nothing magical. And I don't mean even literal magic. I just mean like there was nothing fantastic about anything. Like this movie took zero risks in any way, shape, or
and maybe
form.
that's it too, is that we, in Christmas Under Wraps, that doesn't take place in the real world because Santa's real.
Sure.
In Journey Back to Christmas, that doesn't take place in the real world because some form of time travel, we disagree about which, but some form of time travel is real.
And there's nothing here to separate us from what's actually happening in the world.
This takes place here in the very real universe.
Yeah. I get it.
And if you're going to set a movie like that, that is 100% fine. And in fact, plenty of great movies take place in a very realistic world.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you got to give us something that exists in the real world. And
Yeah.
the nation rioting about somebody saying they don't like Christmas and then clearly accidentally pushing a guy who offered her, like, and we didn't even talk about that, but it was clearly an accident.
Yeah.
The uproar about something like that nationwide to the point of ruining a life is just not real. And I know that people like to say like, oh, well, everybody gets offended about something. First of all, go back to bed, Grandma. Second of all, that's just not true.
Yeah.
And if you look at the things that happen nationally in the news that people don't riot about, this becomes even more ridiculous. Like in terms of like scandals happening on the news, this is a particularly poorly timed Hallmark movie. This came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Yeah.
there's not a whole lot of leg to stand on.
look at the world around you and tell me this is what people are going to complain about if they
Yeah,
see it on their
right.
TV.
I think it was a few weeks away, especially early on when we're starting to see kind of all the ridiculous things that are happening. If they didn't have to add too much effort, and it would have been kind of an okay comedy. Like if you had just been like, oh, well, that's ridiculous. Kind of like Anchorman, like the way people feel about like he's a god or something. But like it's just kind of
She
playing
just
on
let
a
them
farce
down.
of
Well, and maybe another part of what it is this movie seemed to make a lot of promises that things were going to go off the rails and then never did.
Yeah.
It set up this false expectation that it was going to get real magical.
Sorry. I had an egg that was about to hatch. And I had to see.
This movie is so boring that instead of talking about it, Carter would rather play Pokemon GO.
I was just gonna watch it hatch. It's one of my favorite parts. It's like it was a 5-kilometer egg. Okay, so it took a while. I didn't even use a super incubator, and I just noticed I had a notification. I was like, well,
My God.
Before we get too off the rails,
This is the best thing that has ever happened.
I did think of a super pump for this movie.
Oh.
And
Is it
that
Carter's egg finally hatched?
Carter's egg hatched and he's a dad now. He's a scrub dad now.
He's a scrub dad.
But no, my real super pump is that the video editing somehow in a movie where they got everything about everything so very wrong. Some of the video editing was close to accurately portrayed.
This is such a backhanded super pump. What? Much of the movie did not make me cry. Oh my goodness. Is it
Yeah.
time to kick out science?
Let's rate it.
All right,
do
science.
it.
See you later. It's time for the Southern Living Christmas scale for movies made by us here at this podcast that we host.
we're not taking credit for making these movies. We made the scale.
We also didn't make Southern Living. Want to be very clear.
Yeah, we
about
made the
that.
scale.
The best thing that we can say about one of these cheery movies is, of course, rejoice. When you open that gift, the paper sparkles.
It's like opening a can of Fresca right into your microphone.
Oh, it's so.
It's not Fresca. I don't know what Fresca
Or
is.
opening a new egg.
hatch.
It's a refreshy.
Watch that movie, Hatch. The next best and middlest thing that we can say about one of these movies, well, that's going to be re-gift. Hey, maybe those socks aren't your size or that sweater's not a color that brings out those beautiful baby blues, but you know what? Somebody else is really going to benefit from this one. And the last and worst thing that we can say about one of these movies, that's going to be receipt. As in, I sure hope you kept the receipt, because not even Target's going to want this one back without proof of purchase. So, gentlemen, it looks like Doge is really itching to rate this movie.
Do it, Doge.
Rincinerate. I'm adding a new rating to our scale where we rincinerate a movie that
Rincinerate.
sucks.
Actually, that's the Pokemon that just hatched from my egg.
Incinerate.
Carter I'm going to feed this to Carter's new Pokemon Rincinerate.
Oh, man.
No, receipt. It's going to have to be a receipt for me. This is, without a doubt, the worst flick that I've ever put before my eyeballs.
I mean, yeah, it's a receipt for me, too. It's garbage. I mean, this movie is
Yeah.
garbage.
I'm going to journey back really quick, though, and just say
Christmas?
I apologize for the lack of professionalism I had by playing Pokemon GO on this podcast. I need to unwrap this apology for you. It's a receipt.
Yeah.
I can't be creative anymore.
Yeah.
It was
No.
really bad.
Yeah. Man, I mean, I've never felt like the wind was taken out of my podcast sails more
No
than
way.
talking about this movie.
No
and
way.
I've loved every moment of recording this.
Yeah.
Because the misery feels tangible.
Yeah, it's really transported me back to a similar state of mind of being unable to breathe. And much like Kate is trapped in the biggest little Christmas town, I was trapped watching this movie.
Yikes.
Yeah. No bueno.
So as always, we want to give a big fat shout out to our new dad, Scrub Daddy. Thank you for being there for us, for supporting us, and for scrubbing all of it.
We do have some iTunes shout outs we want to give.
Yay.
Big thank you to iTunes users Billy Blue Jeans, Jericho02, your boy Chris Floyd, and Mike Trozo.
Mike Trozo.
Thank you guys and gals so very, very much. If one of those people is you, send us a screenshot, DM it to us or email it to us, and you will be added to our Christmas card list. We unveiled that over social media this week. If you have left a review and you send us proof that that review is left by you, then we're going to send you our Christmas card. We want to say thank you
so good.
for doing your part to make 2018 our chunkiest year yet.
Yeah,
Doge
really
has made this Christmas card, and it's one of the best works he's done, I think.
Thanks, guys.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, definitely
Thanks,
better
guys.
than like his other stuff. Yeah, it was not very good. But speaking of those reviews, honestly, if you want to help us out, and I hope you do, the best thing that you can do is to rate and review us on iTunes.
Yep.
We are shooting for kind of a lofty number. It's 200 reviews by
It's
about
1 million.
1 million reviews.
By
It's 200
tomorrow.
reviews by this time next year.
Yeah.
If we can accomplish that, guys, we will be able and eligible to become licensed Rotten Tomato movie critics, and that is like the dream.
That's a huge deal.
Genuinely dream come true for at least this chunk.
So please rate and review us. That would be enormously and abundantly helpful. And while you're at it, subscribe too.
Yeah.
Would be really great.
It's so easy.
Go ahead and subscribe. We're about to reach a level on Two Chunks, and I've talked about it before. You're gonna want to be a part of it now, so that people don't think you're a bandwagon Two Chunks fan. There's a lot of stuff happening in the new year. Extra ep.
Come get your podcast from the Chunk Wagon.
Come get your podcast from
Jump
the Chunk
on.
Wagon.
Jump on the Chunk
on it.
Wagon.
Everybody get up. It's time to slam now.
I'm glad you mentioned that. We should also reiterate, starting in January 2019, we'll be releasing 2 episodes a week. One of them will be a bite-sized mini muffin,
Little baby.
and the second will be the 2 chunks that you know and love.
And speaking of 2019 changes, something else that we want to bring your attention to before it happens, just so nobody's shocked, we're going to move the shout out portion of the episode to the middle of the episode,
Whoa.
like real big boy podcasts do.
We did
Cool,
it.
boys.
Just to mix
We'll
things
have
up.
a quick
Wait, hold
shout
on.
announcement break.
Did I already? We can cut it in later, but did I make sure that to ask the unsubscribers to bleed from their eyes till they die?
Oh, Carter.
Yeah, you already did that.
We'll just do that. Okay.
No,
And
you already did. No, you already did it.
You already did it. You don't
You
have
already
to do
said
it
it.
now.
You don't have to say it. You already said it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, moving right
Yeah,
past
cool.
that.
Yeah, and
Fine.
we're really
Great,
excited about spending Christmas with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
What does that mean, Carter? Tell us about that.
That means that on Christmas Day, it might be. Now, listen, we're going back into a library that has gifted you over and over again, and yet you still might not have subscribed.
I know.
But I probably mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, you
as they
did.
told
You
me.
Yeah,
did.
I think
You
we can
did.
probably breeze
But
past that.
we've gotten together, and for Christmas, say you're opening those presents, you're exhausted from just joy, and you need a little break. Oops, more joy. We have a pitch for you guys, and we have written a Hallmark movie ourselves.
We have written a Hallmark movie,
We have. And we did
And-
it just for you.
and we're going to pitch it to you, the listeners.
Yeah, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
And if you know anybody at Hallmark, please have them listen, because we're really proud of this and we want it to be a thing.
If you could get this in front of the eyes of one Sir John Hallmark,
Mr.
that would be very
Mr. or
helpful.
Mrs. Hallmark, we're
I
not,
forgot he was knighted.
we're not picky.
He's the only American to ever be knighted. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Sir John Hallmark.
Wasn't Ben Wyatt knighted in Parks and Recreation? Bad joke. Anyway.
Isn't Sir John Hallmark the guy who signed the Declaration of Independence really big?
No.
That's definitely not, but that's good.
No. Well, okay, this has clearly gone on too long. Is it time to end this bad?
Yeah, it
boy?
is.
To end this episode, I'm Jordan Wonders. And if I had to add any ingredient to hot chocolate, it would be peppermint.
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm Doge, and I'd make it a little caliente. I'd add a little bit of cayenne pepper.
Oh. And I'm Carter, and I've always enjoyed a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Some salted chocolate.